Alright, so I don't do a lot of serious reviews, especially if I'm not like super excited about a specific product. And I will say the product I'm getting ready to talk about, the jury's still kind of out on it, but I wanted to do a quick build video because I noticed there wasn't a lot on YouTube about it. So since I've gotten into this quadcopter hobby, and I'm not a pro, I'm garbage, I'm a terrible pilot, but I'm learning as much as I can as fast as I can. I initially got a cheap Amazon frame, not this one, but a larger one. It was a 6-inch frame. But before I really messed around with it too much, I decided to go down to a 5-inch size frame. So I got this guy, which is an H style frame. Overall, I really like this frame. It has a fairly thick bottom plate. I did break a lot of top plates, so I actually turned a bottom plate into a top plate to kind of strengthen it up a little bit. I've been trying to kind of ramp up my racing game a little bit and get a little faster, so I'm wanting to try to make a slightly lighter build. Also thinking I'm going to go with the underslung battery style deal and all that. So I'm going to do a new build, and I've decided to switch to a straight up X style frame. I don't like spending a ton of money on frames. They break a lot. The other thing is that I really like buying stuff from Amazon. Even Get FPV with their free 2-day shipping takes 4 days to get here. I just really like Amazon Prime. So I shopped on Amazon Prime and I found this guy. This is the GEP QAV 210 TX5 Chimp. It's kind of a funny name for a frame. I bought 2 of them because I want to build out 2 quads with this frame. When I got it cracked open and it's all kind of spread out here across the desk, I was actually really surprised with the quality of it. Like, the edges of the carbon fiber are all rounded, and it feels just super stiff compared to this guy, even without me having to do some sort of modded top plate. So I'm going to build this sucker out. I have been using the Omnibus flight controllers. My father-in-law Steve had bought one of these Betaflight F3 board that's really cool, in very high demand, but he decided he's going to switch it up, use a flight controller that someone on a YouTube video told him to use. So I went and snatched this from him. He sold it to me for retail. Thanks, Steve. I'm going to try to do this build without a power distribution board. So that'll save a few grams and all that. So let's dig right in, get this sucker built. For me, the biggest questions I always have are, where am I going to put my antennas? How does my VTX attach? And VTX antenna, how does it come out? And how clean does it look? Every build I've done has gotten a little cleaner and a little cleaner. So I'm hoping this will be my cleanest build yet. The last thing I want to do before we get started is I want to weigh this sucker. I want to see what my all-in weight, so I've got the quad, I've got a GoPro in there, and I've got my battery here. Get my little scale on. Sure it's zeroed out, pop this sucker on. Looks like I'm right at 585 grams. So let's get this new quad built and see how it compares. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, at last, the new X-Frame quad is built. This was the hardest build I've ever had, including all my rebuilds. This is probably like the 15th quad that I've built, and had a lot of issues. I did another quick video about the Betaflight board. Essentially, I got it all installed, plugged everything in, and it was dead. It would not do anything. And finally asked a Facebook group, and someone told me that if you put in an SD card, it magically fixes it. It did. Unfortunately, I'd already completely desoldered the board and started installing one of my Omnibus boards. So instead of taking that quad back apart, I went ahead and started building the second one. So this is technically quad number 2 that's got this board in it. So one of the goals I had for this build was that it would be lighter. It didn't work. This quad is literally 3 grams lighter than the other one. It is an X frame, so I'm excited to see how it flies. I also just got in my new Racecraft 5051s, so I got different props on it. I lost my other Tranus, so I just got the Tranus Special Edition in, so it's pretty slick looking. I'm excited to get out and maiden this. A few issues that I had, I do a couple things weird. I do not like nylon standoffs. for me, every time I crash, they break, and there's my flight controller bouncing around in there. So what I've always done is use actual steel screws. You see that in there? And then plastic and rubber bushings to get it all together. That's the way I do it. So I ended up having to Dremel out some of this area there to make room for those screws. So that happened. The build of this frame is great. Like, the edges are all rounded and the quality seems really, really nice. There's a few things I didn't necessarily like about it. Number one is the GoPro mount's intended for a regular style GoPro, not a Session. And so there's not an easy way to strap the Session to it. It'd be nice if there was like a little slit for a Velcro strap or something. I think I'm going to try to print something out maybe that'll do it. Right now it's just zip tied. I look for that to fail. But yeah, I'm excited to maiden this sucker, so let's get outside and see what it do. Let's do it.
Welcome to OpenTX.
It's always really scary to give this sucker power for the first time, so wish me luck. Line of sight test was good. Let's get the goggles. I lost video for a sec. Not sure what was up. Alright, definitely got some tuning to do, but we're all pretty good. It's definitely fast. It's unreal how fast it seems compared to my old setup, so really excited to try to run some gates with it. Alright, good deal.